just had another explosion on Water Street because of the secondary explosion. We've got numerous people covered with dust from the secondary explosion. And we got another explosion on the tower, 1013 down with 2. I got a major explosion and what appears to be a complete collapse. So another the entire area.
I want you to pay attention. What we're originally told, and in this video you're going to hear them, they plant the first seed that this was a jet-fueled fireball that came down the elevator shaft, and there's plants in here. Any fire I've been into that's consumed the entire room, you have a fireball come, we don't get fireballs, but when you have that type of thing happen, you're going to see some wilting of the plant. Probably they won't even be there anymore.
Was the first chief into the building.
So look at the damage. It's
right away,
uniform.
A guy from the Port Authority told him the damage somewhere above the 78th floor.
Look at the ceiling, perfectly white, walls white, plant intact.
Something had happened right there in the lobby.
Windows, irregular damage.
You just saw that.
All of them. And look at the
lobby looked like the plane hit the lobby.
Look at the elevator cars they show them.
They figure out the flaming jet fuel had shot straight down the elevator shaft.
All this damage was done already.
Elevator cars intact.
People was all over the place.
Elevator doors.
So you knew it was going to be worse.
We provided scientific forensic evidence found at the crime scene, the eyewitness testimony, and what investigations should have been done. Building 7 on the left. Is there any similarities? Now, at first we heard that there's massive structural damage to the south side of this building. Well, were that the case, we would expect this building to fall over toward its area that's damaged. But NIST pulls that now, and they say it was not a significant factor at all. And in addition, they say that the diesel fuel lines, which were run through from the 5th floor where the diesel generators were, that was not a factor at all in the collapse of this building. It's a series of explosions racing almost as fast as the debris falling at free fall speed. This is free fall acceleration.
For structural engineers, what really gives this away is Building 7. I think it's a classic case of what looks like controlled demolition. And no matter how you look at it, in fact, it's just too obvious.
He worked on major projects such as the Seattle Kingdom, Three Rivers Stadium, Philadelphia Naval Hospital, Keyspan gas holders in New York, among others. His work is published in the book Implosion. Mr. Tom Sullivan.
First, you have to weaken the building, and that's after studies are done by structural engineers to explain exactly how the building was built in the first place. At that point, staircases are cut at intervals, firewalls are removed, elevator shafts are cut, including the rails in the elevator cars removed. Then all the support columns on the load floors are cut with a torch, and that essentially removes about 20% of their strength. And even with all that compromising and weakening, the building is still safe to enter. We keep working in it. Film crews and camera crews come in and interview. So the story that just a few column failures can cause a synchronized global collapse, I got to tell you, well, that's just nonsense.
Well, my name is Tom Sullivan. I worked for, was a former explosive technician for Controlled Demolition, and was worked for them for a couple of years. And I have to say that I don't represent CDI today. I'm retired, but I do. What I do say is based on my experience and my training that I received at CDI, and I enjoyed having to work for the best in the world. It just doesn't get more clear than that. And so that's my argument with it, or when you start talking to people, is focus on 7. Because once you see 7, then there's reasonable doubt that the rest of the story is not the same.
Yes,
well, 7 is crystal clear.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody, absolutely nobody, can deny that that was not explosive demolition. Like I said on stage, I knew about this from day one, and it's been frustrating for me because I work for CDI. I know what I'm talking about, and I was in an unusual. I would tell people, and I said I know what I'm talking about, and there's reasonable doubt, and let me tell you why. And people would glaze over and walk away, think I'm a conspiracy theory, and it was just very, very frustrating. So. And like a lot of people, I thought, well, eventually this is going to come out. And
were you talking about that within like the CDI group while you were there?
No, because that was about the time. That was about the time that I left CDI, and also their business, as all the controlled demolition people, business dropped considerably. For about a year or so, because it just everybody was so sensitive to having a building imploded in their town because they thought terrorists were coming. So basically, their business took a real drop. So anyhow, so I thought that very much that people would eventually come to realize this, and I just didn't know how to. There wasn't really groups like AE 9/11 out there. I mean, there were some people putting information together from